Bob, nod your head yes.
He'd be a hero. Yeah, I can send you an email.
Just send me an email so I can just go.
Got it.
I'll send you a video.
Okay.
What I'm doing now. It's pretty exciting.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
Just make yourself at home.
All right, it is 7. Steph is not.
Hey, Rob.
The
double
here.
It's time to start.
I'm using the coat rack over here.
Doing her minutes. Stephanie's in here. Yeah, you are, because you're the vice chairman. There's a thing right away.
No. What's all this crap on my? Oh, I meant to throw this out. I guess I did. I guess I can't. So what are we doing?
Buy a dump truck.
Anyone's ready to go there? For what? So I get a hook? Yeah.
We just need Soretta.
Fortune.
Yep. He was here.
How soon we get to show on the road?
Where is Mark?
To use the facility.
Why, you
He was right there, wasn't he? Yeah, he's here somewhere in the building.
I just, come on, Tom.
I saw
Spend some
it.
time with your colleagues.
He was.
Can we do like after hours?
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
You know what I'm saying?
I can understand.
See, there somewhere?
And Mark.
Went back to his office to get.
He's out in the hall.
Oh, there's the mayor.
Mayor's out there. I don't know where Mark went.
Where's Mark?
He
at?
was
He was
here.
right there.
Doug is not, nor Steph. Should be a fairly quick meeting, right?
Take lunch.
We can hope, right? Guys.
Doug not here?
Doug is not coming. Okay. Steph.
Let's do it.
Okay, Laura, we ready? Okay. I'd like to call to order committee meeting Monday, April 15th, 7:02 p.m. Laura, will you please call the roll?
Peters.
Here.
Soretta.
Here.
Revolt.
Here.
Kiesling.
Here.
And Fonte.
Here.
5 present. May I have a motion and a second to excuse members Waring and Folk?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, first up, Community Economic Development Chairwoman Kiesling.
Yes, this is a piece that we spoke about several months ago. We sent over to the Planning Commission to see if they would agree to replace the superintendent's reporting official from the city engineer to the director of administration. We asked for their recommendations and their thoughts. They agreed and have sent it back to us to decide its final path. But I propose the same thing and would love to put it on the agenda for next week for a first reading.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here next week, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody questions? We talked about it several months ago before we sent it over to planning. Nope, all right.
So I got a question. So basically, Pat would be the person, the key point?
Yes.
Okay. So since he's in the building with all the activities, he can kind of help keep the cohesion together
Yes.
and efficient. Kind of like when they do these nice little projects, we can get a chance to look at it before they turn into reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Darryl?
Well, the other important point is Pat's also supervising the contract.
Yes.
It's contract management.
Sounds efficient, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Be on the agenda for next week, first reading.
Uh,
All right, next up, Finance and Property. Chairwoman Waring is not here. Pat, I'll let you talk about this.
Certainly, I'm going to rely on Tim to help out here a bit too, because he had come across some additional research that needed to be done in order to get us to this point. But we had made a request for this item a month or so ago, and I think I had sent it over as a 2005 dump truck but the legislation reflects 2003. It is the 2003 that we are replacing, so just in case there's any misunderstanding on that, we wanted to purchase this vehicle through the Ohio Cooperative Purchase Act. This dump truck is, obviously needed replacing an older one, but there were some things with the Ohio Cooperative Purchase Act that we wanted to kind of get straightened away. So I'm going to let Tim address that part, and then I'll come back with a wrap-up.
Yes, sir, thank you. We do have, with our finance department, that we're registered to participate in the state's Cooperative Purchase Act. And essentially what this does is, as we had discussed with the Board of Control, going out for the lowest and best bidder. With the Cooperative Purchase Act, the state purchasing department will often negotiate contracts. And with the purchasing power that it has, it also, on occasion, offers these same types of contracts that are used in government offices and agencies and different political subdivisions, and let those participate in this, and so that they don't have to go out and get the lowest and best bid. It's already been done on a large scale, and so long as we follow the rules with that, we're permitted to participate with that. This particular one was a little bit different. It's from the Ohio Department of Transportation, and it, in a similar way, authorizes political subdivisions to participate as well, but instead of it being a permanent participation where we can go online and see what projects are out there and the bids that are available for us to take advantage of. When we do this with the Department of Transportation, it's a one-for-one type of project. It requires us to do the legislation, the resolution that we did a few weeks ago, and to turn that in along with information about exactly which program that we wish to participate with. And here it was the single and tandem axle cab and chassis. And so we did the legislation, and we turned this in, and Mr. Battershell and I worked with the representative, the administrator of the Office of Contract Sales, Division of Construction Management, Thomas Panett, and we were able to go ahead and get this without having to go out for that lengthy and expensive competitive bidding process. And so we were able to let the department, Mr. Battershell, look through there and find exactly what he needed. And then in addition, through the Cooperative Purchase Act, there are some accessories that we're able to use to put this in a condition that's the best use of the city, and that's really with a snow and ice control package as these accessories. So this is a wonderful program. We found out this other outlet, and I imagine we're going to use this in the future as these needs arrive. And so we're asking that you put this on for legislation next week with an emergency, because they want to be able to when you start from the chassis and just build your way up, there's quite a bit of time. It's built to suit. So we want to have this put together as soon as we can to put it in service to replace that 2003 model for all types of purposes for both the street, water and sewer department, as well as snow removal at the end of the year.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
So I get all that, and that sounds good. Sounds like in a nutshell, what you're saying is that we get to buy it at a big discount because the power of purchase power, basically. So I'm looking at the truck. Is the truck 104,240, or I'm sorry, 240? Is that the price of the Mack truck we're buying?
No, that's the total price. I believe the truck is approximately 84,000, and the remainder is the add-on equipment that goes for 7 of the 8 pages
Okay,
to
so
bring
it's-
it to
so the total-
customize it.
The customized package is 104,240. So here's my quick question. You mentioned that in 2003 was the last time we had a truck purchase like this. Is this like a 13-year, 15-year plan? Will this truck last that long, you think?
Well, the vehicle that it's replacing has lasted 16 years,
Okay.
and I would anticipate that that would be the same case. Of course, the major impediment to that is, salt use. That kind of eats through metal, but that department does a very good job of washing the vehicles down after use. And if you were down there, you would think that you were in the fire department. They're so clean. So that extends the use.
Okay. I was just, in the back of my mind, I always think lease versus purchase at $6,500 a month for a period of, 16 years, if you do the math. I just was curious if we ever did a comparison, if we just leased equipment and turned it back in when we were done, what would be more efficient? And this is just, I'm throwing it out. Just something to think about.
And I might ask the vice chair of the committee that if we could make a word addition to the legislation when it comes out. It was brought to my attention, and I think it's a good point, that on the description of the vehicle, we should put in the manufacturer name. So it should be a 2020 Mack Granite 42BR. Even though Granite 42BR refers to a specific make and model that is manufactured by, but in theory, somebody else could have that name, maybe, I don't know, but we would want it to be clear.
Well, what we include in the package is that we are purchasing from a specific vendor that is going to sell us only that product. That, if I have it correct, that's Snidely.
Sidley.
Sidley.
R.W. Sidley Incorporated.
Yes, and I believe that's all that it offers, but if you wanted that amendment for that name, we could ask the clerk for that, but it's actually a line entry in the competitive bidding package. And it may not have made it to, I think what you see is the add-on, but there is a specific line entry for the chassis.
I thought I saw 84,000 somewhere, and then with the add-ons, it took it up to 104.
And we have that, yeah, our specs.
Actually-
It's a quote, Mack.
And the truck price is 84, but with all the equipment, the plow and all of that, it actually takes it up to 188. There's additional items that go on. The total package price is 188,000, and what was budgeted was about that amount, very close, I believe 190. And that is a 15-year vehicle.
Okay. Is it okay to add Mack in the
Yeah.
title?
Okay, everybody, I'm fine with it. Okay, we'll do that as well.
Yep.
We'll place on the agenda for an emergency next week.
Okay. Next up, personnel and safety, and it occurs to me in your packets that changes aren't highlighted. So, am I correct in assuming that they're not in mine?
That is correct.
Okay. So, they are on the emailed version. If if you guys don't have those available, I'm gonna go down here. Page 4, under sick leave regulations, the number of accumulated but unused sick hours, the addition is certified by the finance director, am I correct in that, Laura?
Yes, I'm
That's the
seeing if I
addition.
can get it up on the screen so that
There it
everybody can
is.
see it.
Yeah, D
Yep, there
or
you go.
E?
There we go.
Yep. Oh, there you go, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so, those are to be certified by the finance director.
And if I may, one of the things we want to be clear of, perhaps there was a misunderstanding for some personnel. When you see there the hire date, so on E, it says upon retirement, employee hired after August 1st, 2006. Want to be clear that a promotion doesn't change your hire date, that for someone that starts as a patrol officer, say in the year 2000, and then is promoted to sergeant in 2007, the hire date is that 2000. The promotion doesn't change your hire date. There was just a little bit of concern, and so I wanted to make sure that that's the intent, and that we memorialize that here on the record. So if there's any concern for that later.
Thank you.
Mr. President, can I
Yes.
give a little background on
Yeah,
what's
if you
going on
would,
here? Just
please.
for everybody. Last year, Administration and Finance had gotten together and discussed the need to go back through the entire compensation ordinance. Over the past 3 to 4 years, there had been small amendments to it, but we hadn't done kind of a wholesale look at it. And so what we wanted to do was go through each section and make sure it matches up with what we're currently doing or what we wish to do in the near future. So our departments met together in a series of meetings and tried to come up with making everything just consistent. So this is the first instance of what was here in D and E was not consistent with what's in our union contract language. So we just wanted to make both areas consistent, so there's no difficulty in paying out those payments when someone retires. We know exactly what it means. So adding that word payment just further clarified that section, so that everybody's under the same set of rules, both union and non-union.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, moving forward, the next one is page 6, under vacation regulations. We didn't have the Deputy Director of Administration under that, so this allows us to pay her out vacation, I would imagine, correct?
Right, and again, it's just to make everything consistent that that
Right.
title had changed and it hadn't gotten changed in that section.
And then, next up, page 10, under leave of absence. Leave of absence without pay may be granted upon written request and approval of Director of Administration. Okay,
Previously, it had said that, I believe, the department head,
correct.
and I think this would be better suited.
I agree. And then.
Have more uniformity
Yeah,
throughout.
and then in compensation, maximum was added.
It was, again, just to further clarify that that's the maximum amount. That's not what those positions typically make bi-weekly, but it's the cap. There was some confusion there.
Okay, and then there were some changes in the full-time compensation, end of page 10 into 11, for Parks and Rec, building maintenance, water distribution, construction engineer, and administrative specialist. And was administrative assistant as well at the bottom? I see the number was highlighted, but not the title.
The amount was updated, but not the title, whereas administrative specialist, that's a new title that's been added, as well as construction engineer.
Right.
That's a new title. And then the operations managers were just to split those out. Before, we had a combined park, rec, building maintenance, and water distribution. That was Mr. Brian Hill. when he was promoted to superintendent, the schedule was split out to reflect all of those duties individually.
Okay, and then moving on, the part-time schedule, we increased the hourly rate for paramedic, firefighter, firefighter basic, firefighter, and then the basic, position.
And we actually didn't change the rates on these, we just cleaned up the titles,
I
to
thought
be
there-
more consistent.
I thought there was an increase in the hourly, or was not?
There was not, it was
Okay.
just the titles changed
All
on
right, I
fire.
stand corrected. And then, special patrolman, were there any changes in the hourly on that?
Yes, the special patrolman and the radio dispatcher, that's our part-time police and
Right.
dispatch. The first rate that you see there, the 1563 on patrolman and 1276 on dispatcher, that's our current rate that those positions are paid for part-time. Those following rates just give us more of a tiered system
That's what-
where to retain those employees, it gives the police chief the latitude to, if he chooses and based on performance, that after certain periods of time, they could have an increase in rate. Because currently, somebody coming in the door or somebody that's been here 10 years makes the exact same amount.
Okay, Darrell, do you have something? Okay, and that, am I correct in assuming that is it?
I believe so. And just a note also about the positions that were added and the rates that were changed. Those were not budgeted during 2019, so this is in wording only. If departments wanted to move forward with some of those positions or those increases, they would have to come back to council and ask for appropriations.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Good?
Any questions on that? Dom?
I'm going backwards.
Okay. Okay, that concludes the agenda. That will be put on the agenda next week, 3 readings. And that concludes the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.